What is up, guys? And in today's video, as the title says, Chucky TV series episode 8, the finale is here. What are my thoughts? Best way to describe this episode is amazing, shocking, and surprising. I'm not going to put too many spoilers in here. If I do talk about anything that is spoilerish, I will say when that's coming up. But before I do continue, Season 2 was announced yesterday. We will be getting a Season 2 in 2022, probably in September or October. So I'm very excited to see a Season 2. I kind of expected an announcement, obviously before the finale or after the finale. And we got that announcement yesterday. And today, we obviously got the finale. So what are my thoughts on Season 1, the finale's episode? Again, like I said, amazing. This episode changed something in the franchise forever, and I will talk about that here in a minute, but it changed something. And I actually like it. For some, it may create plot holes, but for me, I can kind of overlook it. And it's actually shocking of what they do here. But let me just talk about this episode right off the bat. Tiffany's in this episode. Tiffany is really surprisingly almost the lead in this episode. Chucky's really not too much in this episode. It's mainly Tiffany. It almost feels like Bride of Chucky. And I mean that in a good way because I love Bride of Chucky. I feel like it's a good balance of Tiffany and Chucky. Again, very much like Bride of Chucky. And even the scenes with Chucky and Tiffany fighting just reminded me of Bride of Chucky. It reminded me of Bride and Chucky, especially the way the dialogue was written. It reminded me so much of Bride of Chucky. There's some really cool moments in this. The whole scene at the end when Frankenstein's playing and Chucky and Jake have their face-to-face encounter. The whole scene where Chucky under these people's chairs and he's killing all of them. I will say one thing that kind of disappointed. Well, there's a few things, but one of the things that did actually disappoint me is they hyped up this huge Chucky army, and now we just get one scene with them and that's it. Disappointing because we all thought we were gonna get a very cool scene where this army of Chucky before they was shipped off, they was going to kill a lot of people, and no, we didn't get that. That was kind of disappointing. But outside of that, again, there's just a few little things here and there. But regardless, I really love this episode. I know I said this about every episode, but this is my favorite episode, and I actually mean it this time. Alexi, I actually like her character now. I actually can buy her character being friends with Devin and Jake. And Devin does live here, which actually surprises me. And Andy actually lives here as well, which actually also very surprised me as well. And the whole teacher, Fairchild, being Glenda, thrown out the window. But if you've seen the episode, you know. But, that whole theory is thrown out the window. But again, I thought it was a really cool scene of it was a scene where Nika, Chucky, and Chucky the doll, and Tiffany and Devin, they was all in the room hanging out. I thought that was a very cool scene, and it was just funny to me. And again, this episode was just surprising and shocking to me. Now, I will talk about something that I was actually surprised that we did not see in this episode. I thought we would. And I feel like he's going, because I feel like they're done with the flashbacks. I think they are, at least. I think they're done with the flashbacks, so I don't think we're going to see him. That is John. Now, who is John? If you've seen the first Child's Play, you would know he is the voodoo, he is the voodoo constructor, he's the voodoo doctor, he's the one that taught Chucky all of this great stuff. We've not seen him in any of the flashbacks, and that's kind of disappointing because I kind of know what they're doing if they're done with the flashbacks with his character. Kind of writing him off. Because, again, I'm actually surprised the voodoo is referenced heavy here. Considering Don Mancini's not a fan of the voodoo, it is referenced a lot here. But I feel like the whole voodoo constructor, the whole John Bishop character, is kind of retconned just a little bit. Because I feel like if his character was shown in a flashback very heavily, Don would fully have to embrace that voodoo, which I don't think he wants to do. He probably just wants to throw a few references here and there, because again, if you are a fan of the franchise, you would know that Dom Manzini is not a fan of of the voodoo. He said that tons of times in the interviews. He's not a fan of the voodoo. That's one reason why he's never fully embraced it. So I think the John Bishop character, we're not going to see him, but we we could just come out with our theories of how Chucky met him. That's the best we can do. But outside of everything, I love all the flashbacks out of this whole series. But we're just talking about this episode here. Again, one of the things I do want to talk about is something that actually changes the franchise. It changes Child's Play 1, changes Bride, and changes Curse to an extent. If you don't want any spoilers, turn this video off and come back to it. Tiffany is the one that snitched and told the cops about Chucky. Yes, and who was the detective, who was the officer that she was speaking to? The one that she called and probably had talks with prior to this, event. Mike Norris. Mike Norris is actually mentioned here. And now we know why Chucky was caught, because of Tiffany. I personally like that because it changes the franchise, and I had a feeling that we was going to get something in this episode that was going to change the franchise as we know it. And it does, because, does it create some head-scratching moments? Yeah, sure. Like, in Bride of Chucky, like, if this was everything that went down, then why was Tiffany looking for Chucky all these years? Was she that gullible? Like, did she think Chucky was actually going to change? It didn't click in her head, that Chucky wasn't going to change until she put him in that little baby, carriage thing or whatever, and went in the bathroom and got electrocuted. Like, it wasn't until then she realized, oh, well, I'm a doll now. He's not going to change. I just have to play my role. So was her character that gullible? Like, but again, I still like that she's the reason that Chucky got shot, put into the good guy. I like that. It adds more to the character Tiffany. It gives her, just more in depth. I like it. Does it create some head-scratching moments for Bride now? Yes, because, okay, well, she was looking for him all these years, but she knew what she did to him in the past, and she didn't like that what she was doing, what he was doing, if she didn't like what he was doing, but she's just as crazy as him, why, what I mean? But regardless, I do like that approach. I think it's cool. But I know some people will get really mad about it, but I like it, because, considering the fact that Tiffany, in my opinion, is a big part of the franchise now, I think that's a very, a good direction for her character to go. The next thing I do want to talk about is Nika. I was not expecting this. Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly, comes obsessed with Nika. I'm not going to say what happens to her character. She doesn't die. Just know Nika is done for. She's done for. Just know that she's done for now. I wasn't expecting that. Just know she's done for. Okay? Just know that her character is done at this point. Again, the other thing that I do want to talk about is Tiffany. I'm not talking about the human Tiffany, Tiffany the doll. Yes, we know who's in that Tiffany doll now. Tiffany splitted her soul into the Tiffany doll. I like that, but to be honest, I was expecting Glinda to be in the Tiffany doll, but I still like the Tiffany splitted her soul, more Tiffany in the Tiffany doll. I like that at least, but I was expecting Glinda. And to be honest, I really was expecting some sort of cameo of Glenn or Glinda, considering they've been mentioned a lot in the franchise. And I'm not going to say which character is referenced in this episode. You just have to watch the episode to find out, and I will talk about it in another video that I have up and coming. Because it's actually pretty shocking who is mentioned in this episode. It was actually surprising, and now I am expecting to see them in season 2, so we shall see. But a couple more things I do want to talk about. There was another thing that I did want to talk about that it was a spoiler, but I don't really remember what it was. But I like the stuff with Andy and all that. I thought that was really cool. The stuff with Junior and Chucky's death, like the way he dies was really cool and really creative as well. Chucky's kills in this were really good as well. Again, just overall, just a jaw-dropping moment. And yes, it's one of those endings that it's very conclusive. I'm pretty sure I said that word wrong, but it concludes the story nicely while opening the door for a lot of things, because that reference to that one character, not going to say which character, but the reference to that character, Andy driving off with the dolls and Tiffany in the back, and all of that, Tiffany the doll, the stuff with Nika, and now Tiffany, like, now she's obsessed with Nika. Like, Tiffany is a different character now. Like, just know that. Like, she's a completely different character, and just as crazy as Chucky. And it really makes Tiffany's character very unpredictable. Because, like, 1 minute, like, again, like it said, she's the one that snitched on Chucky. She's the one that told Mike Norris all this stuff, and the police and all this stuff, that what he did this. But again, what I find interesting is, did she pin everything on Chucky? Because I'm sure, again, like, Tiffany did some things herself, so did she pin everything on him to kind of get clean? So I'm pretty sure she did. But it really I like what they do with Tiffany's character, in my opinion, because it makes her unpredictable. Because, again, she, snitches, tells Mike Norris what Chucky was doing. He's the reason that, he got shot. And then, like, at the end of the episode, what I'm not gonna say it, but she's basically torturing somebody. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I like the direction they're doing her character now. It's very unpredictable and just makes you really head scratch. She's just as crazy as Chucky, maybe just more evil almost, because she's very unpredictable, and you will see, if you see in the episode, you know what I'm talking about, especially the end. That was shocking. The whole scene at the end, predictable in my opinion. We see it like a glove, like, at this tree. It's Kyle, because we think Kyle's dead, but she's not. Kind of predictable. I mean, that was kind of predictable, I feel like, because, like, why couldn't you have had, like, maybe, like, I don't know, Glenn behind the tree, and you, like, just see, like, his purple shirt, or, I don't know, something like that, like that glove, like, we know who that is, that's Kyle, so, but regardless, this episode was amazing, definitely my favorite episode, can't wait to see what they do with Season 2, and I think Season 2 is very unpredictable. Because it's like, are they going to continue the story directly? Are they going to wait till we get further into Season 2 to continue this story? Where's it all going to go? Where is it all going to unfold? Are we going to see that character that's mentioned? Are we going to see, Glenn? I will say Glenn because he was mentioned way before. I think like in episode 2 or 3. So, like, and will we get more flashbacks? Like, will we see a young Mike Norris? What I'm very interested to see, are we going to get separate flashbacks? And what I mean by separate flashbacks, a whole scene where Tiffany, the young Tiffany, is like thinking, should I do this to Chucky? And we see a young Mike Norris. That would be really interesting. I'm very curious to see, are we going to see that? Like, a separate flashbacks just of Tiffany. Maybe, where it's only like in about 2 or 3 episodes, maybe even, just one episode. That's interesting. That's really interesting to think about because, I'm sure she had to think about that. I'm sure she had to think about that. So, I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm sure she put a lot of things on Chucky that she did. Remember, she killed that one girl. She helped Chucky kill that one girl. You know, at least like she would have been held as accomplice. You know, so I think that too. Like, not only like did she snitch on Chucky, she put everything on Chucky. You know, when she did majority of the stuff as well. And not only that, if you think about it, Tiffany is the reason that Nika's was in a wheelchair. Like, because Chucky all these years just assumed and thought Nika's mom was the reason that he got shot and all the events happened. Because when Chucky stabbed Nika's mom in the stomach, you know, that's why she was in that wheelchair. He did that out of rage and anger and just pure evil, obviously. But he didn't know. If he knew that it was Tiffany, the roles would have been reversed. He would have probably just maybe killed Nika's mom flat out, never did anything like that, and just went over and just killed Tiffany then and there at the apartment. You know, that's really crazy to think about that. Like, it really makes Tiffany more evil. You know, like, she is really the reason all these events played out. She's the reason that Chucky went after Nika. She's the reason, you know, Nika was in the wheelchair and all that. Like, it really changes the franchise. Like, wow, man. But if you've seen the episode, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Drop your thoughts. Where do you think season 2 is going to go? All that. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow, where I do talk about just a overall general review of the series and just a general talk of Chucky, the TV series. If you enjoyed the video, like I said, smash the like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. I love this episode. Catch you guys in the next video.